My name is Sauda Johnson McNeil, aka Attorney Sa, and I want to welcome you to my channel, All Things Special Education Law. My topic is how to request an initial special education assessment. So the first thing you want to know is when to request a special education assessment. And there are different ways to know. One is your child's pediatrician or doctor has identified your child as having a disability. The second way is if your child is struggling academically, like either the teacher reports that the child is just not able to keep up in the classroom, or you're doing homework with your child and you've noticed that they just continue to struggle. A third way to know that your child may need a special education assessment is if your child continues to have behavioral issues. It just seems that they're really defiant. No matter what you say, no matter how you discipline them, they just are not listening, and that can seem very frustrating, but your child may have a disability. We've discussed when to request a special education assessment, but now I want to discuss qualifying for special education services. There's the primary law for special education, which is the Individuals with Disability Education Act, IDEA or IDEA, and Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973. Under IDEA, there are 13 categories of eligibility: autism, deafblindness, deafness, emotional disturbance, hearing impairment, intellectual disability, multiple disabilities, orthopedic impairment, other health impairment, specific learning disability, speech or language impairment, traumatic brain injury. Special education requires that a school district offer a child a FAPE, free appropriate public education. And under the Section 504, a school district has to offer a child a FAPE. Now, your child may be struggling academically, but may not have a disability. So the other option is you can request an SST meeting, which is a student support team meeting. The purpose of the SST process is to intervene and help your child early on if they're struggling academically. So they don't have a disability. We have them on the general education track, and we want to figure out what they need academically, behaviorally, to help them succeed. Now you know there is another option if your child is struggling academically or having behavior issues that's impacting their education, but they don't have a disability. You can go the SST route. But for the purposes of this video, we're discussing how to request a special education assessment for your child. A physical or mental impairment that substantially limits one or more major life activities. Okay, so now we know when to request a special education assessment. We know that there's this SST process, which is an option if your child is struggling academically but does not have a disability. We also understand a little bit about the qualifications under IDEA and 504. The next thing is, how do we request a special education assessment? In order to request a special education assessment, I want you to put it in writing. Meaning I want you to write a formal letter to the principal or the special education director and tell them exactly the reasons why you think your child has a disability. It could be from what the doctor told you. It could be from the academic struggles that you've observed. It could be from the behavior issues that you've observed, or it could be a private evaluation that you have had performed. Okay, so now you've written this letter, and I want you to take it to the school, and I want you to have them stamp it, and then I want you to email that letter to the principal or the special education coordinator, or both. So now that you've submitted this letter requesting special education evaluations, I want you to wait to receive an assessment plan from the school district. In California, the school should give you this assessment plan within 15 days. The assessment plan will delineate which assessments they're going to give your child. I want you to read this assessment plan very carefully to ensure that they are giving your child the proper assessments. If you think there's an additional assessment they need to give your child and it's not marked off on the assessment plan, then I want you to put in writing and let them know. and let them know that you would like them to assess your child in that particular area as well. Once you've signed the assessment plan and submitted it to the school district, they have 60 school days to conduct the assessments and hold an IEP meeting. Once you receive the report, you will review it, and then you'll decide if you agree or disagree with the results. Whether you agree or disagree with the results, you should attend the IEP meeting. The only difference is if you disagree with the results, you're going to request an IEE, Independent Educational Evaluation. That's basically saying, hi district, I don't agree with your results and I want you to pay for a private evaluation. Someone that is not affiliated with the school district. I want you to pay for them to assess my child. If you agree with the results, you attend the Individualized Educational Program IEP meeting, and at this meeting, you and the team determine the most appropriate services for your child. If you don't agree with the results, then you've already requested this IEE in writing, the same way we've discussed when you request a special education assessment. Please remember that once you request that IEE, the district has two options. They either fund the IEE or they file a due process to defend the assessments that they've conducted. In California, if it's been about 3 months and they haven't funded the IEE or filed a due process, then I suggest you speak to an attorney to file a due process to get your IEE done. For the IEE, there is no 60-day rule for the district to hold an IEP meeting because you have these private providers who are assessing your child, and they may take longer than 60 days. So let's recap how to request a special education assessment. First, it's recognizing when to request the assessments. It's understanding the eligibility criteria under IDEA or 504. It's putting it in writing, and remember, after you put something in writing, always follow up verbally, either by phone or in person, and then recap in writing again the verbal conversation so that you actually have a paper trail of what you discussed. Waiting for the assessment plan, signing it, submitting it, waiting for them to actually perform the assessments, waiting for the results, attending the IEP meeting. You're going to attend the IEP meeting whether you agree or disagree with the results, but hopefully you'll either have the IEE or the results from the school district that you've agreed with. And that is how you request a special education assessment in a nutshell. Thank you for visiting me. Please come back and visit me soon. Attorney Sa.